Hey there guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 34. We are available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. So today we're going to dive into the general news, then recent activities, and then the Cooking Mama Superstar mystery that has been going on within like the past week or so. So first piece of news is one that was pretty big. It is a rumor that Nintendo has big plans for Mario's 35th anniversary, which includes Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy all getting remasters, along with a Super Mario World Deluxe or Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, and then a new Paper Mario game. So when this first broke, I was like, this is very interesting because I think a lot of people would have just bought these games on the virtual console, but since they're doing full-blown remakes, I think a lot more people are going to be inclined to buy them. I'm pretty excited, despite me not being like the biggest Sunshine fan or even like Mario 64 fan. It's gonna be very cool if like this is actually true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna like. I would love if they like really remastered Mario 64, like do like a Crash Insane trilogy or Spyro like sort of remake with it. You know, make it look all pretty. That would be nice. But I don't really expect them to do too much with Galaxy or Sunshine. You know, I expect them just to be like higher res and stuff like that. I still think Galaxy looks good anyway. Like I recently played it like not even a year ago to 100% it again, and the game still looks really good. But if it could all be in one like game cart, that would be great. You know, have like a Super Mario All Stars 2, but this time it's like all the 3D Mario games. I think that'd be a nice thing. You know, instead of buying each one separately, you know, just have them all in one case. That would be really nice. And along with the new Paper Mario, apparently it's supposed to be like a traditional Paper Mario again. I mean, that's been rumored for a while that we're going to go back to making like a regular Paper Mario. You know, everything's all normal again. No more like Sticker Star or the one on the Wii. I already forgot what it was called. But people like that one, but you know, Super Paper Mario, yeah. So
yeah.
It's supposed to be go back to like its more traditional sort of like roots and stuff like that. And then the last thing being a re-release of 3D World, which is good because I actually haven't played 3D World since it like came out like 2013 or whenever it came out. I might have been later than that, but I actually really like 3D World, so I'm pretty excited to play it again if they do like, you know, a deluxe version with new levels and stuff like that. So that is if any of this is true. So
yeah, big same. Yeah. I don't see them releasing the remaster separate. I think that would be like really dumb.
Yeah.
It's probably all gonna be on one cartridge, but yeah, like you said, if they like did like a insane trilogy-esque Mario 64 remake, I think that would be really, really cool because I think, you know, like those games made like a big splash, especially Crash, when they were coming out, and it was like, wow, like these games are actually doing like pretty well too. So Nintendo probably looked at that and was like, if we did it with our game, we'd probably make a shit ton of money too.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, perfect time, Mario's 35th anniversary. Hopefully this COVID-19 shit doesn't get in the way, but it probably is right now. If these games are in development, they're probably slowing down and they don't, you know, feel that much pressure because they haven't officially announced them yet. So, but supposedly the source that this came from is pretty reliable. He has broken other stories about other Nintendo games in the past and things like that. So, I have faith, but you know what? Not going to get too excited about it because, you know, it's still all rumors. So,
yeah, you know, again, take it with a grain of salt because, you know, it is still rumors. And if Nintendo does like an E3 thing during, well, there's no E3, but we'll talk about that later. But, you know, when it did a direct when E3 should happen and you don't see any of this, don't get too mad because, you know, it's still rumors. But it would be really great to see. I would love to have all these games on the Switch and stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully that's true because, you know, who doesn't love 3D Mario? I love 3D Mario, so yeah.
True.
All right, so now we got some delays incoming. So Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed again, but this time they have like no date for it when it's coming back. From reading the, you know, all the stuff about it, it seems like the game is ready. Whoa, I can't speak. But it seems like they want to like sort of deliver it like to like people who want it physically and stuff like that, and they can't really do that easily right now because of COVID-19 and stuff like that. So it seems like they're just delaying it so everything's all like, you know, not all messed up so people could get their copies and things like that, and so people won't, you know, have the game first and then playing it and stuff like that. Final Fantasy VII actually had a problem with this when it was coming out like right now, where you know, a lot of people were getting it early and they were like shipping it early, but all digital people had to wait till today to play it and stuff like that. So it's been kind of a mess. So maybe Naughty Dog wants to avoid that, mostly because the game is, you know, heavily story based too, and they don't want people getting spoiled and things like that. That's what I'm guessing, because it seems like the game is done, so they just want to fix up how it's going to be distributed and stuff like that.
Yeah. According to the Naughty Dog statement, they're like, you know, they're almost done with it. They're like fixing some bugs, things like that. But you know, like bugs, you can just patch them out, sort of thing. So, but I guess they're just saying that as like a excuse, like you said, to make sure that when it does come out, that people do want it physically, like myself. They don't have to risk their lives going out there, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it all makes sense because, when it comes to like other forms of media, like you know, like music, most people listen to music digitally, so that won't get delayed most likely. But some like bands and like artists want to like delay their music because they want to actually tour that, you know, record or whatever, so they can make more money, sort of thing, which makes sense. But you know, some artists just don't care about that sort of thing because, you know, it's probably going to do well either way, or they just actually don't care. But when it comes to this, you know, a lot of people want this game physically. People bought like the collector's edition, the goddamn Ellie edition, which I stopped myself from buying because that shit's too much money for what it is. But yeah, the fact that it is delayed indefinitely is kind of like shit. Like that sucks. So hopefully you guys are quarantining yourselves so we could get this faster and, you know, be in a state of the world where it's not complete shit. But yeah, it definitely sucks that this game is getting delayed again. I think when they announced the date, they were pretty confident about it. And then they were like, fuck, we need more time. And then they were like, fuck COVID-19. And then here we are. So it sucks that it is now delayed indefinitely. But I think when the game does finally drop, Naughty Dog and Sony will financially benefit a shit ton. And then on top of that, hopefully the game will be just as good as the first game, if not better, because I think that's what a lot of people are expecting, is that this game's going to be a lot better than the first one, because that's just how people are. But I'm just going in and hopefully it's just as good as the first. Yeah,
hopefully. It's been delayed like twice, so hopefully it turns out good.
Okay, so next thing is that we got some new MCU dates for the movies and shows. So I think we already talked about that Black Widow did get delayed. So that movie's going to come out November 6, 2020, which is, you know, pretty far. I think when the James Bond movie got delayed to November, people were like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, like, that's kind of crazy. But with the whole COVID-19, I guess they knew something that we didn't. So, yeah, November is the new date. And then on top of that, Eternals got pushed back to February. And Shang-Chi to May 7th. The new Spider-Man's July 2021, and then etc. etc. I'm not gonna go through all these dates one by one. It seems a little dumb. But the Falcon and Winter Soldier show is supposed to still deliver August 2020. They haven't changed that, along with WandaVision, December 2020. So I don't know if those shows are done or what, but you know, it looks like they aren't delaying those. So what are your thoughts on that?
For the shows, that doesn't really surprise me, because you know, they very probably should have been done filming Falcon and Winter Soldier by now. So I think that August 2020 date is going to be pretty sure. Also, because it's not like in the movie theaters. Like, you know, they probably are done with Black Widow too. Just like, hey, we're just going to delay it so people can actually like watch in the theaters and we can make more money. With Falcon and Winter Soldier, is like, okay, we could release it then because it's going to be on Disney Plus anyway. So just put it out on there. So that doesn't really surprise me too much. In terms of everything else, it's nice to like have a bunch of dates for the shows at least. You know, WandaVision coming out December 2020. We're getting 3 shows in 2021. Like, yeah. So that's and 3 shows in 2020 too. So yeah, I mean, the schedule looks pretty good. You know, obviously it might be further delays if the coronavirus gets worse or not, or if it gets a comeback in the fall. But right now, I think these are pretty much set, I think. So it's just going to be good to see, you know, this Falcon and Winter Soldier show is going to be a good, like, sort of measurement to see how the rest of the shows are going to be. So I'm pretty excited to see what they could do with, like, a show format. So
yeah, I definitely think that this show in particular is going to be, like, the next, like, Mandalorian sort of thing, because I think a lot of people definitely have their eyes on this one, because this is the Falcon we're talking about, and he's going to be taking over as the next Captain America sort of thing. So I think that there's going to be a lot of buzz on like Twitter and things like that about this show in particular. So I'm pretty excited for it. So hopefully it doesn't get another delay, because I think there was like a rumor going around that like the show had like a sort of like virus that was like not seen, sort of like COVID-19. So I think that might have been why it was like, you know, maybe it'll get delayed or not. But so far it looks like it's still set for August, so hopefully it stays like that, because seeing things get delayed, you know, it sucks, but it is what it is. It's just how we're living right now.
Yeah, you kind of just got to expect it at this point.
Yeah.
You know, people's well-beings are more important than getting some like media things. So
True.
All right. So speaking of people's well-being, you know, Animal Crossing players are going a little crazy here, because now eBay sellers are taking advantage of it. So, you know, there's a lot of things people don't want to do. Like, people don't want to grind bells, or they don't want to like grind for golden nuggets and things like that. So these eBay sellers are now selling them for like real world money. So it's like, hey, if you buy like my gold nugget stack for like $13, you know, you just get it, you know, easy money. So obviously, like, I don't think Nintendo can really do anything about this. Obviously, like, there's nothing in the game that could really like. Actually, reminds me a lot of like MMO real world money trading and stuff like that, where, you know, people have these really scummy websites where you can like buy in-game currency for real money. This is basically that, but with Animal Crossing. So yeah, like, I feel like Nintendo can't really do much about it besides, I guess, axing. I don't even know if you can axe eBay to stop like selling certain things. Like, hey, stop, you know, selling bells or whatever. Like, I don't know if they can actually do that or not. And honestly, I think it's just like the people, like, you know, that's just what they want to do. Like, if you want to spend $20 on like bells or whatever, then I guess you could do it. Like, I don't know if it really hurts anyone in the end besides like yourself, because you could just grinded it out yourself. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say who's at fault here. It's like, I don't know if it's the people buying the thing or people like selling it. Like, I don't really know, you know?
Yeah. So my whole thing with this is that it is just another thing that people can do to like quote unquote cheat in Animal Crossing. You know what I'm saying? So like, people were doing like the whole like time traveler thing, and you know, there's like people that are like, oh, that's cheating, this and that, which like in my eyes it is cheating, but like I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care, sort of thing. Because like, if you want to play the game like that, where like you're constantly playing it, you know, on like a certain day because like you don't have quote unquote time, or like you want to like accelerate that sort of like simulator experience that Animal Crossing is offering, you do you, because you know, we're in quarantine, there's nothing else to do what you gotta do, you know, have fun with the gameplay how you want, sort of thing. And this is just like another outlet for people to like, hey, you know, I want this certain thing, let me see if, you know, someone on eBay is like selling it, sort of thing. And especially since like the way like you can like visit people's islands and things like that is like pretty easy, as long as you have like a stable internet connection. So yeah, you know, this whole thing with like the bells or like gold nuggets, things like that, like if you want to do that, you do you, man. Like, if you want to spend like $10 on, what is it, how many bells is this guy selling, 5 million bells, you do that. That's not bad, honestly. Like, if I wanted to like, you know, pay off my house loan and like just like accelerate everything I was doing, you know what, $10 for like 5 million bells, why not? And if I want to double that, you know what, $20 for 10 million bells, that's not bad either. You know, it's just depending on how you want to play the game. And I think that if you want to spend real world money to get in-game currency, that's your priority sort of thing.
And mostly, you know, the game is basically a single player game. Like, it's not like an MMO where people do this, you can like wreck the economy in game. This game, you can't wreck any economy, you know, it's just like yourself. So like, I really don't really see too much harm in doing this besides people just buying it. Like, you know, if you have so much like free money that you're spending it on Animal Crossing, then go ahead, you know, it's not gonna hurt anyone. So yeah, I don't really see this being too much of an issue, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it's because like this is like the biggest Animal Crossing game to date, because it is on the Switch, and because of that, literally everyone's playing it. Like, some people from like our high school that like graduated with us are playing this game, and I'm like, what the fuck, you play Animal Crossing now? Like, like, you know, like this is probably like their first Animal Crossing game, and they're having fun with it. And I'm like, all right, man, you do you, you know. So yeah, like, it is definitely super cool to go and see people, you know, enjoy this game for what it is. And, you know, if they want to keep accelerating the game's progress by doing this, that's their priority. So whatever. All All right, so let's move on. So E3 has announced a 2021 date, which is June 15th to the 17th of 2021, but they also said that there is no online experience for E3 2020. So what's probably going to happen is that all of these developers are going to announce like their sort of conference thing in like June or July or whatever they want to do it on, and then they'll do it, and then they'll get the buzz on Twitter, they'll be on trending and this and that. So you know what? I think that's fine because E3 doesn't really have to do anything to get these game developers to announce their shit. It's just going to be up to the game developers to do it themselves. So, yeah, like I think it makes sense that there is no like online experience for E3 2020.
Yeah, it was probably just too much for them to do in such a short notice that it's just like screw it, we're just not going to do it. So now all the developers are kind of just out for themselves if they want to do something or not. I mean, I still expect a lot of news during like that June time anyway, or when E3 was supposed to happen, since these companies have probably had stuff already like set up to show. Obviously release dates might be pushed back by a lot because of the virus, but I still expect a lot of news to come out. Especially like Nintendo probably has their stuff lined up. I expect a state of play or something like that to happen. Like Microsoft might have like a thing as well. So, I still expect like a lot of news, but just not E3. Like, not like giant, press conferences or whatever. So, I still expect a lot of news this year, but just, not with E3.
I think when we're talking about like Microsoft and Sony, I think Microsoft's definitely ahead of the curve, despite them like showing more. What they've shown us is like some pretty good stuff. Like we know what the console looks like. It looks like a fridge, whatever.
Yeah.
We know what the power is. Like this is probably like the most powerful console we know to date. We obviously know how much power the PS5 has as well, but it doesn't really compare to the new Xbox. And we still don't know what the goddamn new PlayStation looks like. We know what the controller looks like, which we'll get into next, but like there's just a lot of things that we know about Microsoft, and I think that benefits us as the consumer, but we don't know jack shit about PlayStation, and I think they need to start showing us that stuff if they want to sort of like quote unquote win the next generation again, because with the PS4 it was mainly because Sony messed up with the whole I think it was E3 2012 or 2013 where like they were announcing the big consoles, and like that guy that they had was like, yeah, if you want to play games offline, just get Xbox 360. And then it was like, yikes, bro, I guess I'm getting a PlayStation. But they obviously like reversed all that because Sony wasn't doing it. So, but it definitely messed them up for probably the whole generation. But I think when it comes to games as well, most of the games are going to be coming to PC, so I think people might still buy the PlayStation 5 no matter what, and I think Sony knows that, but I think we're just going to have to wait and see. That's just me speculating and all.
No, I mean, I agree with that. Like, Sony's been really weird with showing the PS5. Like, we knew it exists from, like, a Twitter post when they first said, like, hey, we're making the PS5. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But since then, they haven't really been, like, showing too much of it. Like, yeah, they showed the specs, I think, but it wasn't, like as strong as the Xbox, and we still don't know what it looks like and stuff like that. Like, they've been very weird with the PS5 release. This was even before the coronavirus was getting really, really big. So, like, we can't really blame it on that. Like, Sony's just been really weird with showing the PS5 for some reason. So I guess with that, we could talk about the DualSense, which is their new PS5 controller.
So what do you think how it looks? That's the first thing.
How it looks? I don't like that it's white. Like, I kind of like my controllers black, but whatever. But besides that, I honestly think it looks way more comfortable than the DualShock 4 or whatever. Like, I'm not a big fan of the PS4 controller, honestly. Like, I love the PS2 and PS3 controllers; they were good. I feel like I have it right next to me. Like, I just feel like the handles are like too thin and stuff like that. I don't know. I've never been a fan of the PS4 controller. This one looks a lot more in line with like the Pro controller or the Xbox One controller, and I'm more of a fan of how those feel. And that looks very similar to that. I'm still not really a fan of how Sony does the two analog sticks in the bottom. I used to be okay with that because I used to play the PS2 all the time, stuff like that. But I've gotten more used to the one analog stick on the top, and you know how it is. How everyone else does the analog sticks. I'm not really a big fan of it being in the bottom anymore. But yeah, I think it looks a lot better than the PS4 controller, honestly. I don't like that it's white, but whatever. That's just a aesthetic thing, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people were definitely memeing up this controller. Some people were actually making like their new designs or whatever. Like someone just made it all black, and I was like, that looks good.
Yeah.
With the whole like black and white thing, like that's definitely what threw a lot of people off, including me. I was like, I don't know about that one. So like, how is the console gonna look like? Is it also gonna be black and white? Because I don't want that shit either.
Yeah, me
so
either. I don't want a white console. It needs to be black like everything else.
Yeah, like just like choose black or choose all white sort of thing. Because when you try to do both, you get this, and it doesn't look all that good.
Yeah.
But what I also think is throwing a lot of people off is that like the face buttons, the X, circle, triangle, square buttons are like not the traditional PlayStation colors, where like squares pink and circles red or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of throwing me off as well. But
yeah.
If they're showing us this design now, maybe they'll be able to change it. I don't know, because some people were like, this looks fire, and I'm like, ooh, bro, that's not it. That's a yikes for me, because I don't like the controller how it looks, but I do agree with you that this controller may be a little bit more comfortable to those that are more familiar with like the Xbox or the Pro controller on the Switch. It definitely does look a lot more comfortable, and I think once people get their hands on it at whatever events come up next, I think that's when people will finally be like, hey, like this controller is actually like pretty comfortable, and you know what, I'm over the whole two-tone colors. Maybe they'll change it by then, who knows. But yeah, we still have the touchpad, which is mainly because a lot of PS4 games used it, and we gotta make sure that backwards compatibility is there. So we gotta keep the goddamn touchpad. So
yeah, I mean, like,
that sucks.
It's just a glorified map button for like every game. Like you just press it for the map. Like that's all it's used for. So
it's pretty much like a big ass like select button sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think we still have like the share button and things like that. So you know what? It's still more or less a PS4 controller, but with better specs and the dual sense the adaptive triggers, which I think the Xbox One controller has had for a while, and Sony's just like catching up now or something like that. That's what I heard. But yeah, it definitely looks ugly in my opinion, but I think it'll be a lot more comfortable than the previous gen controller, like you said.
Yeah, like I hope there's like an all black version, but whatever. I could get over the aesthetics as long as it's comfortable. Then I don't really care.
Okay. So let's get into our recent activities. I'll let you go first because I have a lot to say. So
all right, no problem. So two big games came out. One is Persona 5 Royal, which came out like the 31st, I think. And basically just a enhanced version of Persona 5, which came out like 3 years ago. There's been a lot of like quality of life features and stuff. I haven't done a lot of the new stuff yet, since that's more of like it at the end of the game. They have like a whole like another like 27 hours to it, so that's cool. But I haven't really done any of that yet. I'm like halfway through the original game at this point. I've been playing it like every goddamn day for like 10 days. I have like 60 hours, I think. So yeah. Anyway, all the new, or I guess all the quality of life features have been super nice and just made like the game just so much better. A lot of the big complaints were usually during like big story events. You can't really do things during the night, since the game's sort of broken up to like, sort of like a life sim at some points where you could do stuff in the day and stuff during the night. During certain like story events, the game just doesn't let you do things during the night, and it's like really annoying. Well, now you can most of the time, so you could like up your like social stats and things like that, which makes things a lot easier and more smooth, like to actually do like later social links later on in the game. The combat has gone just a lot better. It used to be that you have guns in the game, but you only have like maybe 8 rounds or whatever, and that was the only like that 8 rounds is the only ammo you got throughout the whole dungeon. So now they changed it where you get more ammo, or you get like more rounds after each fight, which is like a lot more useful, so you can actually use guns. And they also fixed up Mementos, which was like this giant like mega dungeon where they just made it more interesting, where there's like different collectibles and stuff like that, where you could get different items and all that stuff. And it makes the dungeon like way more fun, as a lot of people thought it was really monotonous and things like that. So yeah, all the changes have been very quality of life. And if you haven't played the game before, you might have been like, like who cares? But after playing the original one, is like it helps a lot. It makes the game a lot better. And I already thought Persona 5 was very amazing, but these changes have made the game more fun to play. I feel like I have more time to like do different things in the game, and the combat just feels even better. So yeah, it's been very good. Like all the quality of life stuff have been fantastic. I can't really speak of the new things yet until I actually get to them, so it's not too much to say besides it's Persona 5, but like way better. Like if you have the original one, I say just don't even play it. Like if you didn't even play Persona 5, just get this one. It's better, and you will see like, you know, if you play the original one, you'll get why. So yeah, it's been a really good like sort of like re-enhanced version of the game. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, I haven't played too much because, you know, it just came out. I played 2 hours right now. And yeah, you know, I did the first bit again, and you know, everything I said about the demo still stands. I think the combat's fantastic. The game looks really good. The music's really good. Everything's been great so far. You know, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about the ending. Like, you know, I'm not up to that yet, so I can't really tell you how I think about that. But right now, I think the combat's still one of the strongest points of the game. I still can't get over how good they made like the action combat / like sort of turn-based hybrid they made. Like it works really well, and the fights feel very complex, and like I feel like they could do a lot of things. And I hear hard mode really makes you like think about what you're doing and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited to get more into the game. You know, can't say much because I only played like 2 hours, but yeah, I'm having a great time so far, and I hope it continues, because again, I know the ending has been really, you know, making a lot of people angry. So mostly because it feels like the game isn't like a straight remake like a lot of people wanted it to. It seems to be doing like a lot of its own things. Personally, I think that's okay, because I recently played the original one, so it's going to be interesting to see what takes they do now in 2020 as opposed to like 1997 or whatever. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the story. But so far, gameplay wise, it's been very fun, and I can't wait to play more of it. So yeah.
Okay. I actually remember someone at my job, they like bought the digital copy of it, like on like the card or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, why is this guy spending $60 on the digital copy? But now we're here, so now I'm like, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get it physically because I love the box art for the game, but coronavirus, so I just got it digitally. So
yeah. All right, so my stuff, I've been playing obviously League of Legends. I think the problem with high elo now is that like there's not a lot of people playing, and then the people that are playing, they're like bad, but they're also like not too bad where they won't fall out of what elo they're in, sort of thing, which sucks because there's a lot of bad players in D1 and higher, and I'm just like, this is agonizing to play and even watch like certain streamers and things like that. Like there are certain streamers that are also within my elo, like the support player Joey, ADC player Lod, etc., and I'm just like, man, they're having like the same problems that I am, where like they're doing well, and then like, you know, someone's like inting the game away, and I'm like, this sucks. So yeah. TFT, I'm actually really bad at TFT. I've noticed I'm like hard stuck, like gold 4, gold 3, and I'm like, you know what, I'm having fun, it's whatever.
I mean, yeah, the game is just fun. I mean, I like playing it, but I don't know if I ever like want to get good at it or anything.
Yeah. That's the thing I realized while soloing. I'm like, why am I losing? I don't know. And I'm like, all right, whatever, I don't care. Call of Duty Warzone, I get really hyphy when I play Call of Duty. I've noticed I get really fucking loud, not gonna lie. But yeah, I think it's just because it's Call of Duty, and you know, like it's like the sort of like Chad equivalent sort of like game for me in my eyes. I'm like, man, I'm gonna fucking gun this guy down. I'm gonna fuck his shit up in the gulag. This, that, and the third, whatever. And one thing that I didn't know is that this game's rampant with hackers and shit, where like people are just using like, you know, programs to like, you know, get like the perfect shot and just like laser people down and shit. And if you want to like see like hackers for yourself, just type in like Tim the Tatman, Warzone, and then cheaters. And like the first video with like Courage and Nate shot in it, it's so funny because like they know like this guy's like hacking, because like they get like sprayed down with like full armor and everything, and they're like, how the fuck did I die? And then like they like start spectating the hacker, and it's so funny because like you just see him just like laser these people, and like that guy ended the game solo, by the way, in squads of 3.
Holy shit.
He ended that game solo, first place, 49 kills. I was like, what the fuck? So I didn't know that like that was like a problem within the game, which might be, I'm just gonna say that might be why I'm just dying randomly and shit. You know, no cap, but yeah, Warzone's still like super fun. But I hope Activision honestly just like doesn't have like this manual like report system, and actually gets a system where like it can detect when you're hacking and shit, because that's kind of bullshit. That like this game's like probably one of the biggest like BR games now, with like Fortnite and Apex, that you don't have like a actual program to detect people that they're hacking. Because I think what Tim or Courage or one of them said something in that video where it was like they have like a manual review, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's not gonna work for a game as big as this, where like there's gonna be probably thousands of hackers, and you have to like rely on like these few select people. It seems a little weird, but moving on. Ring Fit, been playing more of that. I did not know that game's super fucking expensive now because of the coronavirus. I guess a lot of people just bought it right before, you know, places like closed down, and now the game's like over $100 on eBay or some shit. Like used too. Like it doesn't even have to be brand new within the box. Like that shit's expensive, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like that is crazy. So hopefully once this is all over, because I know Nintendo is trying to replenish worldwide stock of these Switches, and then on top of that, hopefully Ring Fit Adventure is on that list, because I know a lot of people have yet to play that game and they wanted to play it, but now it's like super expensive because the game is only available physically, because you do need the Ring Con and things like that. So this is definitely one of the better like Nintendo products with like a peripheral out there, because it does get you moving, and like really it does make you feel tired. So obviously Animal Crossing, me and Damon have been playing that. The fucking eggs.
Eggs everywhere.
Yeah, bro. I think they patched out where like less eggs show up, but I still get a lot of like earth eggs, because I'm like, oh, is this a fossil? Nope, it's a fucking egg. I hate my life. Okay. I've yet to like actually use the eggs to like craft anything yet, because I want the event to be over like definitively before I like start doing stuff with it, you know? So I'm just waiting for the event to end and to go back to normal Animal Crossing stuff before I start, you know, messing around with the eggs and things like that. So then the last thing I've been doing has been watching a lot of Valorant, because I want a fucking key. I want a goddamn beta access, but I don't got one. Everyone else within our friend group does, and it sucks, because I'm literally sitting there in the Discord, and like I just hear like Jeffrey like you know, make call outs, and I'm like, man, I wish I was in that game. Like it sounds so much fun. It honestly does look like a lot of fun, and you know, like this is like Riot's first foray into like the combat or
strategical, tactical first-person shooter.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. It just a lot of words within my head that just didn't come out. But anyways, yeah, this is definitely like their first like way into it, and like a lot of people are playing it. Like almost every single streamer is playing it. Like Pokimane girl, she had 100K viewers. Holy like shit. Consistently for maybe an hour, and I was like, that's fucking nuts. And you know, Riot's like locking down on like people that are like botting and like trying to like get beta keys that way and like sell the accounts. They are banning those accounts, by the way. Like Riot is being like very active about that. So yeah, I've watched a lot of Nate Shot. I've watched a lot of Cloaksy. I've still yet to get a fucking key. So if you're out there and you're like me and you have yet to get a key, don't worry, man. I'm still with you in that same goddamn boat where I've yet to get a fucking key. But it is what it is. The game is going to be free to play when it does launch. So hopefully when that happens, it'll be just as fun as it is right now. But I know a lot of people are complaining about the character Raze, which is like the, you know, sort of like rocket launcher sort of character. And it's because she is that rocket launcher sort of character in a game where like it's all about like pointing and shooting. And when you have a character like that where like you have to aim within a general area and not actually at them, and you just, you know, kill them, it's like, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Valorant's weird to me just because it's like mixing so many things together that I feel like shouldn't work. Like, I don't know. It's like mixing in like that tactical CSGO stuff or like hero type stuff. And I feel like, I don't know who would really like that, because I feel like those two don't mix together well. Like for me, I don't like the CSGO gameplay. Like I don't like that tactical sort of like FPS gameplay. I like more like TF2 Overwatch sort of stuff, you know, more Quakey or like you know, Quake style like shooting like TF2 was, or more team-based things like Overwatch was. Like CS:GO just feels too like mechanically like skilled. I'm fucking like,
I can't compete. Fuck, man, I'm getting shit on.
Mostly because I use the stuff like Soldier in TF2 or like Pharah in Overwatch, where it's more like I didn't really have to aim, but it was like different like skill sets that you had to use to make those characters good. So for like TF2, I know how to rocket jump and all that stuff, and I just found that more fun than like learning how to shoot better, you know? So I don't know. Valorant's weird. I need to try it for myself before I could say anything. But you know, just right now it just seems weird to me, that's all.
Yeah, whenever I get that beta access, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get shit on, and I'm probably gonna get clipped, but it's okay. I'm gonna be having fun. So, but whenever that happens, right? Please, God help me. So moving on, we're gonna go into the last part of the show where we're gonna talk about the Cooking Mama Cookstar mystery. So, the way this shit blew up is like kind of crazy. So I'm just gonna go piece by piece and like let us give our thoughts on like whatever piece I'm talking about. So first, the way I found out about this was that there was like a rumor going around. It was literally a fucking like Discord conversation where it was like, all right guys, listen up, Cooking Mama Cookstar, make sure you uninstall that bitch because it got crypto mining and this and that. And then someone replied to that comment and was like, you know, saying like all of these things, like the publisher's owned by the Koch brothers and like they are not the actual owners of Cooking Mama and like this and that, whatever. And I was just like, all right, this seems legit. You know, they pulled it down from the eShop and I was like, all right, it seems like there's like crypto mining behind it. So, and then later it was revealed that, yeah, that's not true. So, another instance of sort of like fake news sort of like spreading like out of nowhere for like no apparent reason other than like the internet being the internet, I guess.
Well, I guess it's because it was using blockchain. I don't know if that's true or not either, but I don't know. From what I hear, because I just saw this when it was like the first day, it was like everything was coming out of this thing. I heard it was using blockchaining, which that's really only used for like crypto mining. So I guess that's why people were saying it was crypto mining. Like apparently they had a whole thing. It's like, oh, this game is gonna be using blockchaining. I'm like, why is it using blockchaining? And like, yeah, I guess I guess people just made the assumption that it's crypto mining because that's the only thing that stuff is used for. But I guess that's not true. So
yeah. And like it would overheat the Switch system. It would destroy the battery life, things like that. I think that's just because the game's not like optimized properly.
Yeah.
But I think what like really sealed the nail in the coffin for me for like these rumors and things like that was definitely the game getting pulled from the eShop because it was like, why was it pulled from the eShop? Because no one really knew. So then once people had like evidence of like, hey, this game has potential like crypto mining. Oh, that's why. That's probably why it got, you know, pulled from the eShop, things like that. So, but the developers that have come out first playable, they denied the crypto mining rumors and they said that it was pulled from the eShop due to a legal battle with the publisher and the IP holder. So what do you think about that part of the story?
I mean, I guess that makes more sense than the whole crypto mining thing. Like again, this whole game was just weird though because apparently like it was just like, I don't know, like there was like no lead up to this game. I know it's Cooking Mama, like you're not gonna have like a giant lead up to it anyway, but still, like apparently there was like a trailer that was on YouTube for like a while that just wasn't made public till like I think it got like leaked a bit, and then like I remember seeing the trailer for this like a few months ago, and then it got pulled out. So it's been like such a weird thing, you know. But yeah, I know the people who made this are not the same people who made the original Cooking Mamas, right? Like this is like a different developer.
So I'll get into that right now, I guess. So when it comes to this whole like it getting pulled between the publisher and the IP holder, so this is what happened. The developers of the game are First Playable Productions, and they are known for Ben 10 Protect the Earth, you know, a very notable game. But it was only on the DS one that they made, and then a bunch of other shovelware titles. And then the publisher is Planet Entertainment. They also made a bunch of shovelware for the Switch. And then the IP holder, a lot of people refer them in like these articles as Office Create, but they are more well known as Cooking Mama Limited. So they are the same company. It's just that Office Create is the name that people are using in these articles. So what pretty much happened was that they gave the license out to Planet Entertainment, and it looks like they were having like a lot of like miscommunication as to like what they wanted to do with the game, sort of thing. And it just looks like they weren't really sure if they wanted to, you know, delay the game or like even like take it down altogether. And it just seems like, you know, Planet Entertainment just didn't give a fuck, and they were like, we're here for the bag, we're here to make money. So they kind of just like released the game without them like knowing about it. And like Office Creator obviously is like pissed about that. They're like, whoa, you're not supposed to like release the game because we told you not to, because they hold this IP. They lent it out to them. I guess they're like, we get the final say. But I guess they're trying to figure that out legally now, because it just seems like there's a lot of like hoopla going on as to, like, he said this, she said that sort of thing. So obviously like this story is goddamn crazy. And the fact that it all started from a Discord conversation with like no other like backed up evidence is kind of funny and really wild, because literally no one had the game, so like no one can really like, you know, disprove this sort of thing. And, you know, fake news spreading, we've seen this before with the Astoria in Smash Brothers, and another story that we didn't talk about on this podcast in particular, but Daredevil in Spider-Man 3 from Kevin Smith. He was literally just like speculating, and then like people were like taking that and like making like news articles about it, and like Kevin Smith had to go on Twitter and be like, hey guys, I'm just speculating. So yeah, that is kind of crazy. But, you know, the fact that like this is the first ever like Cooking Mama game that wasn't made by Cooking Mama Limited is kind of weird, because like every single title before this one was made by them, and they were exclusively on Nintendo platforms. So like when this game was being made, it was also going to be on the PlayStation 4, and this is going to be the first title outside of Nintendo platforms. So that just seems really crazy and really weird that like, you know, they would like throw this IP out to like someone else and be like, hey, you know, make a Cooking Mama game sort of thing. And they did, and then they were like, you know, we don't really like this. And then, you know, the publisher, Planet Entertainment, were kind of just like, fuck it, we're gonna release it anyways. And then supposedly, according to the Screen Rant article, this is pretty standard according to the developers of First Playable, which is, I'm not sure if they mean by standard within like the gaming industry or like pretty standard for Planet Entertainment, because it seems a little sus on both ends. But yeah, like this is definitely like a huge like clusterfuck, because people still think that this is, you know, causing crypto mining, but obviously the game got pretty big off of this like press, and like they are now selling the game on shop.cookingmama.cookstar.com. And at first I thought this website was fucking fake, like 100%, because like when you go on the, like if you click on this site, like it's powered by Shopify, which like Shopify, like anyone can use it. And then there's no PayPal payment accepted through this. There's Apple Pay, there's like Visa Pay, Google Pay, I think. And I'm like, where's PayPal? Like, why the fuck is there no PayPal? That seems really sus. But this is official from Planet Entertainment, because I believe if you go through like one of their websites and you like try to buy it, like just like clicking around, it will take you to this website, shop.cookingmamacookstar.com. But the funny thing is, the game retailed at $39.99, right? Yeah. When you go on the website now, it's they're selling it for $59.99, because they know that this is like a hot like collector's item, and like I am guilty as charged. I bought the game on eBay for like about this price. I'm not super proud of it, because it looks like they're just gonna make a shit ton of copies of it, and the value of this game is gonna go down. But maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, it just seems really funny that like Planet Entertainment are definitely here to make a bag, and they are doing it successfully by being like, yeah, we're not gonna sell it through GameStop. We're just gonna be like, hey, you know, if you want a copy, just go to this website that we made, you know.
Yeah, it seems they're really taking advantage of all this like press and stuff like that. Again, just like any you know, even though it's like negative publicity, like they don't really care because people are hearing about the game. So like, yeah, just buy the Cooking Mama game, please. Like, it doesn't seem like they really care. But yeah, after hearing all of this, you know, it makes a lot more sense that, you know, it's not about crypto mining or whatever, but it's, you know, it's more about, you know, IP stuff, you know, boring stuff that no one really cares about. It just seems like a game that just like, it just mishandled really badly, and people just kind of, their imaginations kind of ran wild with it. It's like, oh my god, it's crypto mining, freaking Cooking Mama conspiracy. So yeah, yeah, this makes a lot more sense now that everything's spilled out like this.
Yeah, and like to anyone that like doesn't want to go through like these multiple sources, I will also put a link to all of the original sources that I got these from, along with a Nintendo Wire article, which pretty much sums up everything that has happened thus far pretty well, I will say. So yeah, it just seems really interesting that like, you know, like they would hand off this IP to like someone else, and then like once they're like, we don't really like it, you know, the publisher kind of said, fuck it, we're gonna release it anyways. So it just seems like a lot of like mishap going on, and you know, there's a legal battle going on that we don't know yet, or like we shouldn't know publicly, but I guess First Playable kind of we're just like, yeah, you know, there's like a legal battle going on, which is why it was pulled from the eShop sort of thing. So they kind of had to say that in order to like, you know, stop the conspiracy about the crypto mining. So
It was a mess.
It just seems really weird. It's definitely a goddamn mess because the people working on this game, from first playable, the developers, all the way down to, the publisher Planet Entertainment, like they've only worked on shovelware, like all of it. Like every single shovelware game you see on the Switch, probably Planet Entertainment. And the fact that, Cooking Mama Limited / Office Create would hand this to, these people seems really weird and kind of sus. So I don't know if they didn't want to make one or what, like if they're working on something else, because the company's literally called Cooking Mama Limited. So like what else could they be working on, sort of thing. So I don't know. I guess they also just wanted to get the bag without having to work, so they just like tossed it off to someone else, and then they were like, wait, we don't like how this came out, we would have done it like this. Sometimes you just got to get the job done on your own if you want it done a certain way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seems obviously fucking crazy story, but hopefully people realize that it's not crypto mining. The game's only pulled from the eShop because of legal battles between publisher and IP holder, sort of thing. And definitely getting to the bottom of all of this stuff, like I'm not gonna lie, like it took me a while to like figure out, like my brain was honestly, like my brain was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I was like, who's the developers? It's not Planet Entertainment. Oh, okay, so it's first playable. Wait, but they don't have the IP to Cooking Mama. Oh, okay, so Office Create is Cooking Mama Limited. And I was like, okay, now I get it. It's definitely all over the place, and we'll probably hear from this again within the upcoming days, maybe even weeks. I'm not sure, but I definitely think that this game is going to still be within people's spotlights, just because people have yet to play it for themselves, because it's fucking rare now. So
yeah, it's still not on the eShop, right? Like it's just not there.
Yeah, it's still pulled because that whole legal battle with the IP being like, yo. And people are speculating it got pulled from the eShop because the IP holder has calls in from Nintendo, because they've worked directly with them before. Obviously they were like, yo, pull the game, because we did not approve of this release, sort of thing. And they were like, okay. So, and it was only up for 4 hours or something like that, according to the Nintendo Wire article. So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to say, good sir?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay, so thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 34. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
See ya.